Hello all of my class 11 students, myself Shanghamitra. Today I am presenting Ranga's marriage that is included in third chapter from snapshot of class 11. The story was written by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar, who was a well-known writer in Kannada language. He was born on 6 June 1891 and died on the same date, 6 June in 1986. He was the fourth among Kannada writers to be honored with the Gyanpith Award, the highest literary honor conferred in India. He was popularly referred to as Masti Kannadata Asti, which means Masti is Kannada's treasure. He is most renowned for his short stories, and this story, Ranga's marriage, is also most interesting story. He wrote under the pen name Srinivasa, and another pen name was Masti. Here he also used Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. He was honored with the title Raja Saheb Sakta by then Maharaja of Mysore Nalvati Krishnaraja Wadeyar. So he has known several languages, Tamil and Kannada and English. He has known popularly, and he spent his early childhood in Masti village. He obtained a master degree in English literature in 1914 from Madras University. So let us discuss the introduction, theme, character, summary of Ranga's marriage, and word meaning also, and question answers. Let's see what happened. In this story, you will find out four major characters. Here, the narrator is describing Hoshahali village. A vivid description of Hoshahali village is highlighted here. In this village, Shama, the narrator himself, who lives in Hoshahali village, and the major character, most popular character, that is Ranga. Ranga is centered around the village. Ranga is a son of the village accountant, and he is the main protagonist of this story. And the opposite character is Ratna, who is a girl of 11, Rama Rave's niece, Ratna. She is a very beautiful, pretty girl. And the last character is Shastriji, who is a village astrologer. This story takes us to the society a long time back. It was the time when people did not know English language. Even according to the author, the priceless commodity, the English language, was not so widespread in villages. It was the time when people believed arranged marriage. They did not try to understand what is love marriage. And it was the time when the words of astrologers are highly accepted without any question. The author here highlights a conflict between the traditional views and the modern views about marriage. Here, Ranga, who represents himself as a modern boy who completed his own education from foreign, and he came back to his own society, that society where the villagers did not know English letters. There, Ranga came back because he did not forget his own society, though he was educated by a foreign language. So at the end of the story, we'll see Ranga will break all the traditional views of marriage, and he will marry Ratna. Ratna, very very beautiful girl. She knows to sing a song, and she has a very beautiful voice. And by attraction of her, Ranga falls in love with Ratna, and he will marry Ranga. You will see at the end of the story. So that is the theme of this story, and that is the question, central issue of this story. Let us begin the summary. The narrator Shama mentions that this village, that means Hoshahali, is very small and it is not mentioned in geography books. Still, he speaks highly about Hoshahali. Even the local doctor, Dr. Gundafatta, who has visited many places outside India, finds it an impressive village. The village is famous for its sour mangoes and creepers growing in the village pond. The leaves of this creeper could serve as good plates for serving afternoon meals. But the narrator Shama says that real appreciation of the village can be felt only if one visits it personally and gets acquainted with it. Shama recalls an incident that happened 10 years ago. The village accountant was the first one to gather enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to study. Not many people knew English then. That was why Ranga's homecoming was a great event. A big crowd went to greet him. The narrator rushed to see him. Everyone was surprised to see that Ranga had not changed. Once they realized that Ranga was unchanged, the crowd of people slowly disappeared. Only the narrator continued to stand there. Ranga had a smile on his face. He still followed the rituals of his caste by respectfully touching the narrator's feet. The same afternoon, Ranga went to the narrator's house with a couple of oranges in his hand. The narrator thought that such a fine and generous boy should get married and settle down. He inquired about his plan to get married. Ranga said that he didn't want to get married soon. He was searching for the right girl who was mature enough. Secondly, he wanted to marry a girl he admired. He was not in favor of the arranged marriages prevalent in society. Till he got a girl of his choice, he wanted to remain a bachelor. The narrator was distressed to learn about Ranga's views on marriage, but he made up his mind that very soon he would get Ranga married. The narrator found the most suitable girl for him. It was Rama Rao's niece, Ratna, a pretty girl of 11, who had come to stay with him after her parents died. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She also had a sweet voice. The next morning, the narrator told Rama Rao's wife to send Ratna to his house to fetch some buttermilk. Ratna knew the narrator as he was a frequent visitor to Rama Rao's place. Ratna came to the narrator's house. When Ratna came, he requested her to sing a song. It was Friday, so she was wearing a sari. Meanwhile, Ranga came to the narrator's house and stopped at the threshold. He didn't want the singing to stop, but he was curious to see the singer. He was enchanted by her and kept glancing at her. After a while, Ranga asked about Ratna. The narrator quite cunningly told him that she was married a year ago. Ranga was extremely disappointed to hear this. The narrator noticed signs of disappointment on Ranga's face. Ranga left after some time. The next morning, the narrator met the astrologer, better known as Shastri or Shastriji, and tutored him about his plan in Ranga's case. In the afternoon, the narrator met Ranga, who appeared as disturbed as he was yesterday. The narrator suggested to meet Shastri and inquire about what was worrying him. Ranga did not protest and went to meet Shastri with the narrator. Shastri pretended surprise and spoke about meeting the narrator after a long time. The narrator almost ruined his own plan by saying that he had already met Shastri that very morning, but Shastri saved it by changing the sentence. The narrator told Shastri that something was worrying poor Ranga, and they had come to seek his help. After making a pretense of some calculations, Shastri said that it was about a girl. To the narrator's question as to who that girl was, Shastri said that she had the name of something found in the ocean: Kamala, Pachi, moss, pearl, or ratna, the precious stone. The narrator's plan was bearing fruit. There was some surprise on Ranga's face and even some happiness. On their return, Shyama passed in front of Ramarave's house. Ratna was standing at the door. The narrator went inside Ramarave's house and came back a little later. He had a surprised look on his face. He told Ranga that there was some wrong information given to him. Ratna was not married. He also inquired of Ranga whether what Shastri had indicated was true. Shyama asked Ranga that he is thinking about Ratna. Ranga admitted that whatever Shastri said about the girl was true. Now he wanted to get married to Ratna. Finally, Ranga and Ratna got married. All the idealism of Ranga was forgotten as he was totally fascinated by Ratna's beauty and sweet voice. They named their first child Shyama, as because of Shyama, the narrator, efforts, they had got married. Years later, Ranga invited the narrator for dinner on the occasion of his 3-year-old son's birthday. The son was also named Shyama in honor of the narrator. Thus, Ranga was leading a happy married life with Ratna.